Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome to Banners of Ruins, a deck building card battling roguelike from the developers Monte Barrow and the publisher, and it was sent by the publisher Goblin Studio for me to have a look over and to do a review of. The game is in early access, and since this has been sent to me for review, this is a disclaimer, it may affect my opinion. Let's first check out some of the features. First of all, you have the settings. Fairly standard options. You have your range of languages, nice range of languages from the looks of it. Your display options, you can have multiple displays, multiple resolutions, which is always nice. Screen shake, full screen, VSync, bloom, grain, monitor blur, so not bad. Audio options, your standard sort of like what audio device you want to come out of, and your free basically master volume, music volume, and sound option. Gameplay, you only have a couple, which is control rumbling if you want to use a controller, or telemetry, which can be sent back to the developers. Then you have unlocks. Since this is a deck building roguelike, there are unlocks. I will get into those at the end of the game, because you need to know basically what you're doing. So let's dive right in. We're going to do the tutorial, and let's enter the campaign. Banners of Ruin. The Blackfoots have been dealt a mighty blow by the fearsome house of Ender. Landon seeks his revenge. You and others loyal to the cause have been tasked with bringing the great city of Dawn's point to its knees, but the odds are against you. Yes, this game has a very how to explain it? It has its art style reminds me very heavily of like the Red Wolf series of novels, and maybe the Mouse Guard graphic novels. So yes, they are anthropomorphic animals, but this is like a grim, dark setting where people are like mistreated and get killed, and it has a very medieval feel to it. Party information. This hotbar displays the number of cards in your deck, the number of members in your party, and your gold in your possession, which is basically this up here. You can click this icon to see the deck. All the cards you will take into combat with you. This includes any cards your character is carrying. If they die, your cards go to, well, the cards go to. So basically, you have your general deck. You have your general deck, and then you have the cards that are specific to your party members. So if your party member dies, you lose the cards that he had, which can be quite devastating. Here are your party members. You can see all your characters in your party, all small. It's a small party for now, and you're in bad shape. Select your character. So we have this weasel here. I'm not going to even try and pronounce that name. I'm just going to call him Vahammer. This character, you can see all the cards the character has equipped. This character has a hatchet equipped as his primary weapon, which is this weapon here. The hatchet is one-handed axe. It's indicated at the top right of the card. See here. The secondary slot is free, and you can take another one-handed weapon card. Two-handed weapons, great axes, great swords, etc. take up both weapon slots. Street lanes. Your campaign will take place across several streets. You can see them up here. It will take place across several streets, each with an elite enemy at the end, which are these sword indicators in the castle at the end. Street lanes. Each lane in the street leads to a surface. Once you've done with a surface and fight the elites, you are moved on to the next street. Campaign cards. It looks like some cards are in your way. The cards on your left and right are counters, or have counters. After selecting a card, any counter on the remaining cards will tick down. Once it reaches 0, this will remove them from the street. Heal up. Your character is badly hurt. You should take the heal remedy and heal up if you're going to survive the next fight. So basically, how it works is that you have 3 chapters of the story, from your start of your infiltration into the city to you basically killing the lord in charge of the city and taking over, or the individual in charge of the city. I never got to the end yet. You have 3 lanes to go down through each chapter arc, and at the end of them you have basically 3 options. You can have an equipment service, hiring service, which allows you to hire more party members, or healing service, which basically fully heals your party members. A lot happens in this game. It is basically a deck. It's basically a deck battling or card battling game, but it has a lot of interesting mechanics, especially around the idea of movement and character roles and the ownership of certain, like, basically party management is very interesting in this game. But we should take what they suggest, and we should take the party heal because our character's hurt. We could take the pot shot. You see an Erid Raven leaving the towers. There's a tower with still one stone left. Well, we could basically do that to get XP, which levels up your characters. Each character will level up, as you can see by the XP bar. And once they level up, they get stat increases. We'll get into it. We'll take the remedy, which will heal us up fully. Those turn over because they only had one tick left on each event. And we've got to enter combat. We want to try and regroup with our associate in combat because we had another friend that was trying to sneak into the city. This is the tutorial, so it's a bit easier than the main game, but it explains a lot of things. Right, vitality and health and defense. So to break this down simply, I'm going to leave this up so you guys can read it. To break it down simply, you have health and you have armor, which is defense. Defense does not disappear in other, well, unlike other games where defense would disappear at the beginning of your turn or whatever. Defense in this doesn't. Basically, defense is granted by the character's armor and blocks damage as applies to the start of each combat. Better armor is acquired later on in the game. This is literally your physical defense, your armor that you're wearing. It stays with you throughout the combat. You can add to it. It never goes down. So it's basically temporary health, for a lack of a better word. There are a few status effects that can get past it. This is vitality of the red bar. Your character's health, if reaches 0, the character will die and remove from your party. So yeah, it's basically health and armor. And I will explain some interesting facts about it. Then you have stamina and will, which is the real key currency in this game. Stamina comes back at the end of every combat turn, and it's used to play most of your cards. Willpower, which is the blue number, is only there at it basically does not replenish during a combat. So you have to complete a combat to get your willpower back, and willpower is used to play certain card types. Like, for example, this skill here, withdraw, we'd have to play one stamina, which would return at the start of our turn, and one will that would not return until after the combat is over. So it's a very precious resource. And you can see here, your characters have stamina left and willpower right. Stamina replenishes their max value each turn, which will does not. Cards cost stamina and will to play. Character can only play this card if they have enough of each. Your enemies have the same basically setup as you do. They have vitality and defense, but use a range of abilities. So, for example, they have light armor, so at the start of combat they have the defense of 6. They're going to attack us. Attack us for 8 damage each. On the turn start, if the character has 3 or more allies, then their AC increases, well, their armor increases by 10, which is not great. You can see at the bottom of their intent. This is basically your very standard card battling formula. Enemies intend to attack you for damage 8 each turn. Well, these enemies intend to attack you for damage 8 each. You can see who an enemy is targeting by hovering over them. The target is outlined in red. So basically, they're going to hit my character because that's only my character is on the field. Enemies attack in order of their position. These enemies are both in the front rank. I will get into discussing about rank in a second, but you will encounter others on the back rank too. Weapon cards. Weapon cards can only be played by the character wielding the weapon. This is actually an interesting thing. You symbol the top of the card and match the character's symbol by using hatchet. Try using the hatchet to attack an enemy. So basically, your primary damage dealing weapon, well, the weapon your character has equipped, affects a lot of your attack cards, because a lot of them will apply weapon damage, which they'll take the damage from your weapon and use it. And different weapons have different effects. You can also dual wield. You can also shield, like sword and shield, or axe or shield, or hammer and shield. You can also use ranged weapons like bows. So, but for now, I'm going to take the axe, and we are going to hit someone with it. One word of warning, currently this is a beta game, so there are some bugs. One of the bugs is once you select a card, you can't unselect it, so just be careful of that. So we are going to hit one of the mice for 8 damage. This will also break his armor, which will give us charge bonus. Next time your character attacks, or for every attack and a multi-attack, damage is increased by the stack of charge. So it's basically bonus damage, so we get 2 charge. As you can see here, it's talking about the charge effect. But just think of it as bonus damage, which will tick down by 1 tick. Well, basically, sorry, I rephrased that. Once you use it for the next attack, it will disappear. So basically, it'll only boost your next attack combination. So, for example, we press rush, and we attack this mouse here. Each attack will get a bonus 2 damage, but then it will vanish. And with that over, with no mercy, you sowed them, you're out of stamina, but one of your cards costs you to play. So let's mouse. We're going to smash the mouse, which is fantastic. I could have done that a bit differently. I could have, if I wasn't distracted by trying to explain stuff, I could have hit with the attack, done the combo on him to get rid of his armor, and then killed this guy with the no mercy. So he would have, it'd be the same effect really, but still. We can end our turn. All the cards you haven't played go to your discard pile. It's your standard card, battling. It's your standard deck building card, battling system. So once your turn ends, any cards you haven't played go to your discard pile. The opponent will take his turn, so he'll hit us for 8, which will be absorbed by our armor. And you can finish him by example doing Sharpened Blade, which will kill him. You can see here weapon damage. So a lot of your attack cards, I have said, run off your weapons that you're equipped. Some have different effects, some do more damage. So we can do this, and we have won. And at the end of a combat, you get money, and as always, you can pick up a card. Let's see. You have 3 cards to choose from. All are relatively expensive. Deal 6 damage. And do 2 vulnerable, which basically increases the character receives 25 more damage from attacks. This ticks down by 1 each turn. We don't have very many bleed. Deals 3 damage times X, or so 3 damage X times for each stack of bleed on the target. This can be useful. Bleed is actually a really nasty status effect. Sunder, deal 5 damage to armor for each 3 stacks of vulnerable on an opponent, deal an additional 15 damage to armor. Nice if we could get some cards to work with, but I'm going to take Artery Rupture because at the moment bleed is really powerful in the game. Bleed is pretty much I think it's the only status effect that allows you to bypass armor. So getting bleed stacking on things is really nasty. Congratulations, you've emerged victorious. Revealing your companion, select an old friend, add them to your party. Any card he's carrying will be added to your deck. So we'll grab him for the increased party member. We have Burrow. An ambush. Oh no, you've been ambushed. Ambushes block all your remaining lanes. Reserve one of these cards to move forward. So we'll go down the central lane because I do want to pick up another character member. Prepare for combat. Enemy ranks. Enemies on different ranks attack on alternative turns. So basically, if you have characters on multiple ranks, like one here and one here, as is happening, one rank will go, then it's your turn. Then this rank will go, and it's your turn. Well, technically, you go, then it's their go, then you go, and then the back rank will go, and that's what happens. The next rank is attacked identical by the red bar that you can see down here. If you kill all the enemies on an active rank, the other rank will get their turn instead. So be careful about that. So if you kill everybody on this row, well, basically, if you kill everybody in this row on your turn, the other enemy rank will get a go. So it's always better to leave an enemy behind that has a status effect like bleed or poison on it, so they die on their turn, so this rank doesn't get a go. Alright. Okay, multiple characters. Cards are played by the active character. Cards can only be played by this character to have enough stamina. Weapons and talent cards can only be played by that wielder. Okay. So, for example, you can select which character you want to play by clicking on them. It's asked us to select Burrow the Bear. Great, your companion has been selected. They want us to then pick up his weapon, which is a 2-handed greatsword, which allows us to attack the entire rank. But now he's out of stamina, so he can't do anything. Then we can switch to a different character whose resources are separate, and for example, we can use his weapon. We could, to be honest, if it were me, I would hit him to get rid of his armor. I would then, let's see, how much? None of them can do a lot of damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do rush to kill the person in the back. Then I'm going to play No Mercy on the weakest health one, which wasn't him, so I don't know why I attacked him. And we just leave the mouse. Now the mouse is going to stab us, which doesn't do a ton, and then we can just go this and finish him off, and we are victorious. And we get another combat card. We get... That is not a great card. 3 damage if you kill a target, draw 3 cards. It's okay. Deal 10 damage if the target dies, regain 2 stamina. It can be useful. Select target. If the position behind them is vacant, move them into it. Not so bad. I'm going to take the Deadly Thrill. I can get rid of it if I need to. Character is leveled up, which is this character here. You can see in the golden highlighted. Once you level up, basically a number of things happen as you level up. You either get a new card for your character. You always get a upgrade to your stamina or will, and occasionally you get a talent. There's 4 of them, and they normally appear at odd levels. So basically 3, 5, and such and such. So let's see what card he gets. Choose a card. Lose all stamina, gain twice that amount in charge. Not great. Apply Toxic Cascade. Whenever a target opponent gains a status effect, they gain 2 poison, which is really nice. Poison in this game is like a ticking time bomb, which it adds up over time. Once basically you increase it once per turn, and basically every turn it will do the damage of the poison. But at a cost of 3, I can't really play it for now. I will take Acid Burn though. Deal 12 damage if this breaks in a target's armor. Apply 10 poison, which is very nice. And then it will ask us to basically upgrade stamina or will. Personally, I always prefer upgrading stamina first, because stamina is how you play most of your attack cards. And then I normally get my stamina to about 4 or 5 for each character before I start putting points into will. Because one of the mechanics of this game is that even if your party members get killed, as long as you've got enough stamina on the remaining ones, they can still play a lot of attack cards per turn. Right, let's enter the city. You open the hatch and enter the city. Remember, we are trying to infiltrate it, and this is basically where the game starts. The tutorial is over, and this is where the game starts. So, I personally, my preference from playing this for a few hours is that having as many party members as possible is really useful. Equipment is also really nice, but I like party members. But you do have to hire them most of the time, and they cost quite a lot of money. Right, so there's 3 mice. They're going to be attacking us for 8. 2 of them are hitting the bear, which will break through his armor, which isn't great. So let's go to Burrow. We're going to basically smack the entire rank. His stamina's used up. Let's see. I should be able to do this. I'm going to discard a card. It's going to be this. Get a 3 damage increase for this turn for the next attack. No one's bleeding. And so let's just... I want to try and spread the damage out so none of our people take a ton of damage. So let's do this. Well, this is going to suck. I misjudged that. I thought that attack would work. Why didn't it work? Because I thought it was supposed to do at least 3 damage. Okay, so it took a little bit of damage. That's my fault. Remember, I have to read the cards properly. I should really have attacked him. I wasn't paying attention. It's hard to basically... I find it hard to basically narrate and tactically think sometimes. So, for example, here, if we wanted to, we could do withdraw. This is one of the mechanics I did like about this game. So, for example, if they're attacking this square here, you can select him, and we can then pop him over here. We can also then... He can still attack and do various things, but now the attack will miss, which is always very nice. Let's use... He can't use that card, so let's just finish him off with this. Get some more money. We can pick a card up. Tension, tighter formation, each character in rank gains 8 armor, which is nice. Heavy blow, deal weapon damage plus 8, which is really nice. Tension is fantastic. They'll apply free mark, which basically, when a character dies, stacks of vulnerability equal to the mark are applied to members of their party. Ticks down by 1 each turn. This is really nice. For each stack of overwhelm, this character receives 25 more damage from attacks. Basically, if there's more than one race on the rank, apply basically overwhelm. This is a nice card to have, especially early on. Right. So here are the events. We have an overzealous guard, a pair of guardsmen rounding up a black bear. You find this is okay. Let's start from left to right. We have decoy. You find yourself faced with a hard situation that can set up a distraction. You might be able to work around it. Select a card, move it to this lane, and +1 to this counter. We could do overzealous guard, a pair of guardsmen rounding on a black bear. Or we can do courage. This will take some guts, strength, but you can be found through adversity, a chance to improve. Let's go with the fight. Overzealous guard, you have 2 town guardsmen hurling verbal abuse at a local black bear. She's probably a spy, they jeer. You can see her become visibly distressed. Then, when they begin to wave their weapons at her threateningly, we could take money. Show them who they should be really worried about. We can fight. I'm going to fight because having money and XP is always really good in this game. Okay. So to start off, we're going to use Greatsword because it attacks everybody in the rank and smashes through. Who are they going for? They're all hitting Black Bear, they're all hitting Burrows, which isn't great. So we could... We haven't got enough stamina to pull off his stuff, so let's play this, do that, which we sacrifice to get a damage increase. So we'll be doing 11, which will kill off one of these guys. I could have done that in a different way, to be honest. I could have attacked first, get the power increase, then done the sacrifice to card to get even more power. But it is how it is. Be this as it may, we still kill off 2 of the 3 attackers, so I think it's a hare, not a rabbit, to be honest. So the hare will hit us, but it won't get through our armor. We can then basically just straight up murder him. We get some money. We get a card. These are all pretty expensive. 6 damage isn't great for a cost of 2. This might be okay. I think what I'm going to do, though, I'm going to be tactical and not pick up a card. Burrows leveled up. So, what did he get? Natural selection. If target opponent has more health than active character, draw a card. If less health, discard a card. Concentration, draw 3 cards. Can't play more cards a turn. None of these are good. So I'm going to forfeit them, which basically locks away this square so you can't use it. There's no point having cards in your deck which aren't beneficial. I will get some more stamina because I find stamina to be an important asset in the game. Overzealous guard, you hear a yelp from after the sort of bloody scuffle concluded. I wasn't here, I don't know you, I don't see you, so he runs off. Okay. So this is a blocking tile. This basically stops you from going down this direction. these silly louts reek of booze and other wicked activities. Leave them to their devices and they'll probably pass out, but you could toss them aside if need be. Now we're going to go down the back alley. And we can remove 2 cards. We can remove this card. There we go. We've got Helping Hand, if you wanted to take that. We've got Drunken Guards. A fine opportunity to fleece these idiots from every penny on them. They face worse when they're disciplined. We could continue down this route, which is another combat. We could hooded provisions would be nice. A hooded figure emerges from shadows, starting you for a moment. They reveal a friendly token, offer you something for the road. Yeah, okay. Hooded figure steps into your path. May the winds always be at your back. So what do we want to take? None of these are great. Especially next time the character loses vitality from attack, they gain 20 armor for every stack of anticipation. Oh, none of these are great at all. I mean, this is okay. It's better to take a card in this situation than not to. Right. Okay, there's a heavy patrol in front of us. You dispatch the Mrs. Guards as case. However, one mouse is left begging at your feet for his life. But there's a straight up combat. Let's go this way. You meander through an narrow passageway of the city when you hear a command from behind. Halt! What's your business? You and your men turn down the guards and take down the guards in a swift response with ease. One mouse remains, trips and falls back into a corner. Please have mercy. I was just doing my job. We can let him go, or we can execute him and it permanently destroys one of our cards. Well, that should be fine. So which one do we want to get rid of? We could play this. Out of all the ones we have, the one I'm least interested in is this one or that one, to be honest. The 2 that I just recently grew up. This one is a starting one, and this one is one we picked up. This can be useful because it allows us to refund stamina. But early on it's not great, so I'm going to get rid of it. So we kill off the witness. Discard a random combat card, not interested in. Let's go down the Drunken Guards route. There's a checkpoint. Okay. That's blocked. Guardsmen, there aren't any these aren't common guards. Their disdainful gaze hovers over all of your approach. They won't stand any funny business. Okay, this isn't going to be great. Let's go this way. Okay, I thought from the description that they've got to be worse than they are. So they're going to hit us for a lot of damage early on. So there's a few things we could do. For example, for him, I'm going to discard this to get a damage increase. And then I'm going to basically stab this guy. With what's left over, I am going to reposition him to here, which will allow me on his turn to play this card to damage this character, and that should be it. I mean, he gets a nice bit of a damage increase, armor increase. He hits us for a ton and then he relocates. So they're both going to be attacking me this turn, which isn't great. So let's first of all, actually, yeah, see, this is the bug here. Once you select something, you can't unselect it. So let's kill him. Then we will apply acid to him, which will kill him next on his own turn, but we don't have to worry about that. Pressed the wrong thing. My foolish mistake. I keep on thinking it's 3 damage times the amount of poison, but it's not. If he has no poison, if he has no bleed, it does no damage. He's going to take 10 poison this turn at the start of his turn, which kills him off, so we're in the clear. We gain a card. Please have something useful. Deals, right. Deals 8 damage. The final damage it's dealt exceeds 12. Gain 2 stamina and gain 4 bleed. Oh, so then gain 4 restoration, which is nice. So basically this card works really well in conjunction with cards that basically boost damage. Remove all bleed on a target and apply. That's actually a really nice... Field dressing is a really nice card to have, because bleed can be really nasty. Right. Man, our luck has not been great. Elite fight, heavy patrol, heavy patrol. We'll take the heavy patrol. I'm not happy with it. Yeah, because this is going to be like a really nasty fight for us to be in. Because these guys have a lot of damage, as you can see. Okay, let's start off. Man, we have not got good cards. Okay. Well, let's first discard this for a damage increase. This won't help us at all. Who are they going to be hitting the most? They're going to be hitting the bear a lot. So the bear's going to get an armor increase. We can't pull him out, which sucks. So let's smash through this guy's armor a bit. Yeah, we're going to take damage from this. He armors up. Finally, we actually get some cards. So first things first, we want to play Tension. And they all get overwhelmed because there's another member of a different race. And then we're going to go... So they're going to be all... Most of them are going to be attacking the Weasel because he's got the lowest armor. So we are going to, first of all, hit him to get a power increase. Then we're going to hit him to get the poison increase for going through his armor. We are then going to relocate him to here, which is nice. They're going to, that guy's still going to stab me, but I am going to basically hit him for a ton of damage. And then their turns. See, poison ticks up every turn, which is very powerful. They hit us. His damage increases, but he's going to be dead this turn. That guy's attacking this turn. Okay, so first of all, great sword damage to cut into him. That's gonna hurt. What we could do, though, is boost his armor up so he doesn't take any damage this turn. He will take a little bit of bleed. But with this, we can go No Mercy, which will kill him off. We'll charge, which won't do very much, unfortunately, and then we'll do Deadly Throw. If we had more high cost cards, it would be better, but we don't. Okay, he's dead this turn, and what we do with the bear is we'll just clean house, and then with him we'll just clean house. There we go. We get some money. We gain some cards. Oh, none of these are great. I just haven't been having decent draws. None of these are particularly good cards. Well, I suppose they are, but like their cost is so expensive. Deal 4 damage to the opponent party. That's okay if the party's got low health, but for free cost, like, it takes all of our stamina. Deal 6 damage, apply 2 vulnerability and draw 2 cards is okay. But I have cards that give me vulnerability anyway for hardly anything. And this one, deal 3 damage to target dies, draw 3 cards. It's not worth it. We did get equipment though, which is nice. We get a knot sword and a falchion. He's got a great sword, so it doesn't really help him. But it helps him because if we wanted to, we could basically he can dual wield, which is very nice. It means he gets 2 attack cards and various bits and pieces in effect. This is nice. Falchion, deal 11 damage if the opponent has no armor. Apply 5 bleed, which is very nice. Which you can use that to build up a bleed deck if we need be. This you can't keep equipment, so we just continue on. One of our characters are leveled up. It's probably him. Yep. As you can see here, at level 3, we gain a passive trait. When this character whenever this character plays a card costing will, they gain 10 vitality, which is really nice. If one of this character's rank starts combat with 1 vigor, which is basically additional damage. Whenever this character moves, it gains 10 armor, which is nice. The stoic vitality thing is really nice, actually. Got to give him another point of stamina. Right, crossroads. Now let's keep going. And we do have a combat. Yeah, and it's some more. It's the game. Like, I'm going to say this right now. At the start, it seems like easy. Like the combat feels like the combats feel straightforward. Trust me when I say this right now. They are anything but. They can get very nasty very, very quickly. So who is there? Each attacking one of us each. So let's apply full bleed. That's going to kill him. How do you want to do this? We could actually do a lot of damage. Let's just do that. He'll bleed out. Not the best, there's not the most optimal card play, but it still worked. Fortunately, armor held, and then we can just finish him off. Like that. Straightforward. Weapon damage times 8 is always very nice. Apply marked is always very powerful. I will take the heavy blow. And this is the general feel of the game. This is what you go through. You have combat, you are equipping and leveling up your characters, which is nice. And then you have it's a good game. I like the art style of it. Let's talk about some other stuff as well. The art style I like. It reminds me, as I said, very much of Redwall. I also particularly like the music isn't too bad. You can hear it in the background. Right, so they're going to be hitting the bear. So let's relocate the bear. Our vitality goes up, which doesn't really help us that much. Let's try and curtail the mouse as soon as possible. So we get rid of one of these guys. We'll end our turn. Now we have him. You know, let's punch through the armor a little bit. I do like the art style. The combat animations are nice, if a bit repetitive over time. They're both going to be hitting us. That's not great. Well, let's first play this. So he's going to be hitting the bear. Yeah, let's kill him because he's going to be a pain. And then we'll stab him in the... yeah, we're going to have to just kill him. I was thinking maybe doing ruptured artery. Actually, I did have enough to do it on him. That's my mistake. Okay. So who's he attacking this turn? He's armoring up. Okay. So let's do this. Let's sacrifice that card for an increased amount of damage. We will then smack him. He can then come in and finish him off. Please let us get a good card. If active character is in front rank, deal weapon damage. In back rank, that's not so bad. We'll grab that. And a character leveled up, which is this gentleman, he gets trait. Whenever this character ruins a card, which is basically like it's basically like discarding a card permanently. Changes a card into a ruin card. Ruin card during the campaign is permanent but temporary within combat. Basically, a ruin card is that it's basically you play it once in a combat and you can't get it again. Whenever the character ruins a card, they gain 5 power, which is nice. At the start of turn, if this character has no allies on this rank, they gain 15 defense and +1 stamina. Whenever this character is healed, they gain additional 5 vitality. That's really nice. Up his stamina. Early on, I find stamina to be a very powerful resource. Right, so more events. Knife Merchant, we can buy a card. We can learn a pair of messenger hairs, catch their breath by smelling by a small brew stand. We can buy a card, basically spawn drunk guards. I want to try and save my money to hire someone, but this is the general feel of the game. So if we go back to the front of the main menu, I want to show off a couple of last bits before we end this first look. You have the unlocks. In the unlocks, at the end of every run, you gain XP for your attempts. And once you fill up, you get tokens to spend, and you can spend them on unlocking new traits and new cards. So far, I've unlocked a couple. I unlocked this one, which is really nice. One thing I will say in this game, bleed and poison are very, very powerful status effects. At the moment, I have found them to be almost overpowered in some regards. Because poison always ticks up, so as long as you get rid of like characters' armor, and you can have an easy way of applying poison build up, it can literally destroy most powerful enemies really easily. And bleed is the only status effect that I have found which basically allows you to bypass enemies' defenses. So if you can inflict bleed upon an opponent, it ruins them very, very quickly. Like, bleed is the thing that will kill a lot of your party members and a lot of enemies very quickly. But here you go. You have your different tokens that you can buy. You have different cards that you can unlock using your tokens. Your sort of standard deck building system. I would like maybe a bit more, like the ability to unlock characters. As it stands, you have different starting party members. I can show it to you really quickly. We're going to abandon the run. If you do a new game, and we go, you can basically select who you want to start with. You can start with just the weasel, and you'll pick up the bear. Actually, wait, no, sorry, that's a mistake. That's a tutorial. In the default version, you get a bear and a mouse. If you can have beef or a hare, and then you can have wolf or weasel. From what my tests have shown, it doesn't really do a lot per se. I mean, I think it affects. Because you start with the same starting gear and you start with the same weapons and the same armor. So you probably what it will affect is what cards are unlocked in your character when your character levels up. But from what I've seen of it so far, without testing it thoroughly, like your starting race pick is pretty much cosmetic. But it's the animations are nice. I do like Banners of Ruin. I know some people have said they found it either too hard or too easy. If you're used to playing deck building games, I can see where it can be a bit easy. Well, when people say when they're coming from, they found it a bit easy, especially if you're very experienced with deck building games. Besides that, I think it's a good game. I like the aesthetic, the art style. I wish there was more story elements because outside of the tutorial intro, it's never really, the lore of the world is never really talked about. But I I would like it to be developed a bit more in that regard. Everything else is fine. The card system is fine. The combat is nice, fast paced. I like how the movement of the characters around the map, around different lanes, helps to avoid damage, and it's a bit more mobile than say Griftlands or Slay the Spire. It's a solid, good deck building game, deck building card battling game with a nice art style. I believe it's around, I think it's like £15, British pounds on Steam at the moment. I may be incorrect, it may be a little bit more than that. I can't exactly remember. But it's around that mark. If you have liked, please press the like button. If you wish to subscribe, please press the subscription button, and a link to the game will be found in the description below. And I shall see you all again next time, folks. Goodbye.